Cocoa quality is a critical requirement in the international market. Quality is at various stages and includes harvesting.
The best practices at harvesting is regular harvesting. And when we say regular harvesting, we mean that you harvest each month. During this harvesting period, it permits you not to harvest overripe pods, because with overripe pods, it is very likely that you have very light beans. If the beans are not light, that means they lose weight when the pod is overripe. The second point is that when it is overripe, the pulp dries up. And when you harvest and you don't have enough pulp, that is that juicy part, which we call the mucilage, your fermentation process will not be successful, because mucilage has a lot to do with fermentation.
Cocoa fermentation and drying are the most integral parts of quality improvement. The main challenge encountered by farmers to improve quality is that of appropriate drying technology. In the humid rainforest areas with high rainfall like Konye, farmers use wood-powered drying ovens, causing higher frequency of smoke traces in cocoa beans and increasing carbon emissions due to deforestation. In other lower rainfall areas like Ayos, the beans are sun-dried, but cocoa delivered by individual farmers to cooperatives has varying level of humidity, leading to low quality and prices. Fermentation on its part is done by individual farmers using plant leaves and polythene bags. This practice leads to partially and irregularly fermented cocoa beans. Quality standard is further compromised by the fact that farmers carry out fermentation at individual levels.
There are two major kinds of fermentation. You can ferment on heaps or you use fermentation boxes. And each of them, because the atmospheric yeast to enhance fermentation is not very enough, you introduce banana leaves to increase the level of yeast during the fermentation. And fermentation normally takes 5 to 6 days. And if you have to have uniform fermentation, after every 2 days you turn the heap or you turn the one that is in the box. By the 5th day, you start having the real chocolate aroma. That is what we call the cocoa flavor. And when it is well fermented, the beans, you can pick them grain after grain. It's no longer sticky. And at that time, if you put it under a good drying condition, it dries very fast.
In the Cameroon Cocoa Eco Project, SMV worked with farmers cooperatives to construct a high-performance solar dryer in Konye and Ayos.
We had to look for an alternative. We checked with research institutions, with universities, and we didn't really get an innovation or a technology that has really succeeded. SMV has also what we call the Global Cocoa and Coffee Commodity Leader. We exchanged with them and got a good solution to us. We realized that in SMV Nicaragua, they are well advanced with solar drying technology. And they proposed to us some experts in SMV Nicaragua who could help import this technology to Cameroon. One thing SMV is noted for is about bringing new technologies, initiating innovations that have proven to be successful.
Through partnership with an enterprise in Nicaragua, SMV imported a cocoa solar dryer technology in Cameroon. Cooperative members in Konye and Ayos received hands-on training in a process that led to the construction of one dryer in each of the 2 project sites. Managed by the cooperatives, the dryers of 150 meters square each takes 3 to 5 days, depending on the weather conditions, to dry a batch of 1.350 tons of cocoa to 8% recommended humidity level. It is estimated that about 40 tons can be dried per season by one dryer.
As a matter of fact, we are here in one of the realizations of a solar dryer donated to CONAFCO. And here we find boxes where 40 grams of wet cocoa or fermented cocoa are being sprayed in for drying. This particular area where it's Konye experience too much rain during rainy season, and cocoa in Cameroon comes during this period of the year. So there's difficulties of drying cocoa direct from the sun. SNV got the plight of the farmers and came to their rescue. And now we are talking and touching cocoa that has a humidity content of 8%, which is required in the world market, which therefore means that farmers from Konafco and Cacao Plus Ayos can just remove their cocoa straight from here, and they put it in an export bag or in a bulk shipment, and the cocoa will go straight to Europe with the required humidity. The quality, the fermentation, the content of smoky beans, the content of mold beans is out of the question. So definitely we'll be talking about grade 1 cocoa coming from these areas where SNV has developed capacity.
When the news was announced to us, we were very more skeptical. We thought it would never work. Farmers were not ready to even think of coming to dry their cocoa yet. But after completing the dryer, the first person came in and used all of the tables in drying his cocoa. And he spent only 5 days. With that, the farmers could compare that it is better to dry in the solar dryer, where there is more security, where it is less strenuous. And so today we find so many farmers coming in. This is about the third lot we are having. The third farmer who has come in to dry his cocoa. And it continues to be very effective. These days we have had much rains. We have been having rains. Despite the rains, we still have to dry our cocoa for 5 days. So we are sure that when we have continuous sun, we will be using less than 4 days, maybe 3 days to 4 days to dry our cocoa. The cocoa we are presently touching now is cocoa that has been tested, and it is 8% humidity content. So it is ready for the market. This cocoa that is dry on the solar dryer, because it has undergone all the process, experience has shown that when it is carried to the scale, it is going to have more weight than cocoa that was fried on the oven.
The value added in terms of price difference between cocoa beans from the solar dryer and wood-powered ovens is about 200 francs per kilogram. This technology also appears to have a significant positive environmental impact in terms of reduced forest clearance for wood. This is one of the first and most successful cases of solar dryer in cocoa, and come to effectively address the problem of low cocoa quality encountered by farmers. The project shall partner with other actors to scale up this great innovation to other geographical areas and crops, ideally associated to the solar dryer stations as standard cocoa fermentation facilities that uses the box method in line with international standards. These facilities form part of the Cocoa Business Service Center as a model being put in place by SNV in cooperatives comprising of a warehouse, transformation unit, drying stations, garbage pits, gender-sensitive toilet to respond to the needs of farmers and the exigencies of the market.
When you're